What's going on YouTube? This is part two to the race response video on black celebrities that I made in response to Conspiracy Dude's video about black celebrities talking against racism. So I wanted to address. I made a video earlier that you can watch discussing how I felt about Steve Harvey's rant. He talked about that. And then he also talked about, I think it was Kanye West's rant about, which I didn't even know he said, but yeah, he said race is an outdated concept. I guess that's why the police are still shooting black men. Talked about how Tommy Sotomayor, Uncle Tommy Sotomayor, Uncle Tommy Sotomayor. Attention whore. Uncle Tommy Soto, my attention whore, talks about he's not really a celebrity, but he's garnered some support over the net. He talks real crazy about he hopes that there's a black holocaust and all this nonsense, which he wouldn't survive. But it's just a thing where blacks in general in day-to-day life. Blacks should first distance themselves from from all black celebrities, actually, because none of them reach out to the community anyway. So distance themselves from black celebrities, discourage their kids from wanting to become a black celebrity, and try to get their kids to want to think in group consciousness type of a mindset, and get out of this individuality and all this ego bullshit, which is not going to help us because no matter if you want to be or not, we're a part of the group. That's how this thing works on this planet. It's about group economics. And the reason why in blacks you feel that, if I just be a celebrity, things will be okay and I'll get my money. And it doesn't work like that, because individually, when you're out there like that without your people, they can snatch you down anytime. So they figured it out. They're much more willing to give $1 million to him, $1 million to him, $1 million to her, and not have to give our community their fair share of the pie. Because each of them individually with $1 million are much easier to take down than it is a whole community who has a fair share of wealth and who are using that wealth together in a group think collective state of mind, trying to help themselves. It's like a lot of how many blacks have I seen over time in so-called Hollywood, make millions, and now where are they? Wesley Snipes. He was making millions a picture. Money Train, White Man Can't Jump, New Jack City, Nino Brown, Blade, 1, 2, and 3. I mean, he couldn't be stopped in the in the late 80s, early the mid 90s. And now where is he? I mean, he played in Brooklyn's Finest, but he was a backup to Don Cheadle. And he's been in and out of prison for tax. He wasn't paying his taxes. I mean, come on, man. I mean, I think they're just making up bullshit, because the same people who control Hollywood control the IRS. I mean, and they just brought down Allen Iverson, AI. He was making a lot of money. Then all of a sudden, he got hit with all this nonsense. I think Dionne Warwick, she had a house in Beverly Hills. They took that. I remember when Floyd Mayweather at one point, he was undefeated. He was 31. He wanted to retire. His hands hurt. He was talking about retiring, so he stopped for a while. I think he did retire. Then as soon as he retired, they're going to talk about he owed $7 million back in taxes. I mean, they run the same game. They did the same thing to Joe Louis. He served in the U.S. Army. They're going to say he owed. Now, he made them look good. He made the whole U.S. look good when he beat the German, Max Schmeling. Now, he wasn't even supposed to be involved in that. because that was supposed to be the best white fighter. Germany got a white fighter. The U.S. was supposed to get their best white fighter to go against each, one white from the U.S., the best white, and the best white from Germany. Because the Germany said we ain't gonna have no black represent us. But the U.S. was just talking about winning. But I mean, how you gonna put up Joe Louis when you said that blacks are primitive? So I think that was a coward way out for the U.S. to put Joe Louis up there. Because it was blacks in Germany, but Hitler said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put a white man up there. So Joe Louis beats this dude because the U.S. didn't have a white dude who could whip him. So, and then he goes to the army, and they said that he owed millions of dollars, and then, he dies in debt. Once he dies, they forgive the loan. I mean, you can go on for Sugar Ray Robinson. I mean, you can go on for days and days, man. I mean, Jack Johnson, he once owned the Cotton Club, and they took that from him and said that blacks couldn't even get into the Cotton Club, but a black man owned it. I mean, it's just crazy. But individually, man, we're not going to be able to stand out here no matter how much money you make, no matter how famous you are, no matter how much ass you kiss, no matter how many YouTube video hits you got. It doesn't work that way. They can take you down easy, man, one by one. I'd rather nobody know me and we're in a group type of situation where we have our own community, and we have our own businesses, and we have a piece of the pie that way, and that way nobody can't just pull you over, for no reason, and DWB driving while black and shoot you on the street, no trial. You're dead, no justice. You didn't even do shit. So that's how you get treated when you're on the bottom and you don't have a monopoly on oil and none of that. Now, I'm not saying that's all based, that's, all our fault. It's not. Like I said, about 10% is our fault and 90% is the establishment's fault. The part that's our fault is that we're not thinking in a group type of consciousness. We're not thinking as a collective group. We're thinking as individuals, and we're being boisterous. We're being the most boisterous when it comes to the police and stuff like that. But we're the lowest on the totem pole. We're not trying to protect ourselves. We're just out here just free falling. I'm a fly individual, and we all thinking as individuals, and they're not looking at us like that. You black, man. I mean, even if you're light skinned, you're gonna catch it. All these light skinned cats think, well, at least I have it better than man. Even when they do that and they talk about Willie Lynch, and that's nonsense to me, because the divide and conquer goes back a lot farther than Willie Lynch. I mean, our people, Egyptians, were using that. Everybody about divide and conquer. And they don't just use that with blacks. That's used with all the races that have been conquered, which is the Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Arabs. They use that divide and conquer in every race. And whites ultimately use it on each other. Look at the potato famine with the Irish and the English. But when the English starved the Irish out. But I mean, they're using a lot of techniques on us, man, and we're not trying to defend ourselves. And basically, what leaves us defenseless is because we don't have group think. We're not going out here saying, okay, I have to be aware of my surroundings. Okay, let me just follow protocol. I'm not saying it guarantees that you won't be shot, but when you go out there too cocky, you're not going to listen to the cop, and he draws his gun and stuff like that. I mean, if you're prepared to go to war, then fire. But if you're just playing around, it's best to go through the process. That way they can really look wrong, and we can garner some support out here when we, as a group, if we finally wake up, and then we can garner some support from other races and then go head first. And try to go on the attack. But I mean, with you being out here like that, we're not thinking long term. We're all thinking, most of us are thinking individually. But a lot of the problems that we're facing, man, 90% is the institution. I mean, we don't have We don't own anything. We don't own no lumber. I can see if we owned a lumber business, we had a cement company, we still weren't building. But we don't have any of that shit. All we got is our hands and our thumbs. You can't do that. A lot of these other races that are coming over here, they're not telling you all immigrants aren't coming over here making a better way. Millions of immigrants are coming over here and entering into slave-like conditions, working in these factories, making dresses. A handful come over here and they do get their businesses, but usually, because I've talked to a lot of those, I've been in college and I've talked to a lot of those people who come over here and end up getting their degrees. They already were professors in their country. They already had something going on in their country, so they come over here and flip it. Sometimes if he has a business over here, he had an even bigger business in the place where he left. So he comes over to the black community, and they let him set up in a business. Why? Because that's the only place he can set up. White communities aren't going to have Koreans in their community, and they have enough control in the U.S. so where they can say, okay, you can put your business here. We don't have any power to say who's going to get what. We don't have power over anything, over electricity, over water, over corporations, and a lot of that stuff that they're using on us. A lot of the people who control the corporations, that's a family business that goes back hundreds and hundreds of years from slave money. That's how they had the industrial age. That was from slavery. Slavery went ahead and paid for that. So if anyone sits up here and tells you that blacks are mostly the problems for their plight, is confused, he or she doesn't have knowledge of self, and some are just straight idiots. They've done no research. That's bullshit. So I just want to make part 2 of this video. Let me know what you think. But I agree with a lot of stuff that conspiracy dudes say. Like a lot of people say, well, not a lot of people are saying, very few people are saying what he's saying right now. I don't agree with everything he says, but this is one thing I think is imperative, is that we separate ourselves from those individuals who are traitors and who say traitorous things, and they wish to do us harm in terms of economic, political, and social, when they make idiot comments like that. So once again, this is the author, and I'll be seeing you guys real soon.